Good call.
We had it.
All right.
We got the cake taken out by the owner.
Gonna start the meeting at 6:04.
Parking bags, over 30 bags. Like, oh, nobody's gonna notice. So.
See how well I have myself organized. Does anybody need any of the, has everybody got everything printed out? So I got extras of stuff if anybody needs it.
Yeah, I could use one, thanks.
You want
The only thing.
that? You want the minutes from last?
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the only thing I didn't see on
The packet with the minutes?
yeah.
Yeah, I sent them out separately because.
Okay. Maybe I'm.
But
I had to, when I first sent them in, Caleb called me because I think I originally had like the date. You know, I'm taking an old, I'm just like redoing old.
yeah, but that was for the agenda.
Was it the agenda?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, you want to look?
There you go.
Yeah, if I can just.
Minutes. I don't know if I have the agenda with me, but I look at what you guys got.
The agenda? I got an extra agenda.
I'm sure I got it here. Thank you. You got some nice music.
Yeah, we may not close that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a subject of opinion.
Hey, Mark.
Hello.
How's it going?
As good as it can be.
Think as good as it can. Imagine that. Coffee.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes.
I do want to say one thing with Don Yanuzzi. Don can't. He thought he was going to be able to go online, but we're not doing that.
Right.
Stop
that.
He did say that his name was misspelled like 3 times differently. For whatever that's worth in the minutes.
All right,
But-
so we would check.
Right. Yeah, I saw it right from the, like. There's Don Yanazzi.
All right,
And
all right, we'll go through it.
he said there was some other
Before
place. That's all he said.
All right, we'll make a motion to change his name upon approval, and
There it is
Yeah.
again.
we'll make sure that's changed before I sign it. We get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll make sure Don's name is fixed in that. Nothing on the consent agenda, nothing open forum. Financial reports.
Yes, we got that. So we're really close. And once again, like I said, I talked to Michelle, and she said any real differences are just going to be in billing, you know, timings, when people pay, kind of stuff. We have definitely those ice heater buckets have run like triple time this year compared to what they normally run. They were running constantly, so our electric bill was scary. I think you're going to see on the next one, it's scarier. So I don't know if there's any other questions on that.
Anyone have any questions on the financial report? No?
No.
All right. Move on to new business. We're gonna look at, first project would be the Kelly and Marjolat.
So what does John do? I got like, Mark gave me like 6 copies. Does everybody want one, or you want just one to kind of?
Well, I'll probably put one at that end of the table. We have one. I mean, if
We have to sign 2.
If this gets approved, we have to sign 2.
Yep, and I've got some other. Sorry, but I don't think we need that. So there's one for. And make sure I got the right one there. Marjorie Carey, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so, these things I need.
See the project description?
And then I've got, did you guys get the cover letter that Mark did?
I send it to everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so you got that. And other than that, I think we're good.
Okay,
All right, take it over.
all right, some of you know me, Mark Burgess with Shorefront Consulting, representing these guys and two more, well, 5 more eventually, but 2 more tonight. I'm an ocean engineer. I've been working in this field for 25 years, privately since 2008 as a consultant. But I am a degreed ocean engineer, which usually means I'm the only one in the room. Anyway, be that as it may, with that degree anyway. Okay, so the smaller plan here, the others are behind it. So this is your standard plain brown wrapper aluminum seasonal dock that goes in and out of Long Pond. The site is located all the way at the east end of Long Pond, right by the railroad bed. So the railroad bed goes right along here. This is very close to where
You mean the west end, right, Mark?
the
West
sorry,
end.
west end.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm an Eagle Scout, I should know.
I get direction dyslexia too.
Yeah, this is just before or as the road makes that steep dip. And you've got that thin patch of vegetation and everybody has a little beach. Some of them it's owned by the property on the other side of the road. These guys have a separate property and they live over here somewhere and have a legal means to get to the site. It's very flat. The dock goes out 74 feet beyond the ordinary high water line, and local regulations allow 80. The outer platform can't be more than 100 square feet for freshwater. So we have 3, 4 by 8 sections. So all of this comes out of the water at the end of the season. They have a kayak rack here, and I would expect that they'll get stacked the sections somewhere in the sand, so it won't bother any vegetation or anything like that. But standard aluminum dock, they've got 3.4 feet of water at the end at ordinary low water. So there's plenty of water, plenty of room. As simple as it gets. So with that, if you have any questions.
I walked it and, I mean, there's no other docks in there now, but from a navigational standpoint, no issues whatsoever.
Good.
And Amy Wazowski took a look because she was in the office and she was like, everything looks good to her, so.
It's 180 feet to the nearest dock this way, at least on Google Earth, and 580 to the nearest one going southeast.
It doesn't infringe on the property lines or.
No, it's central to the lot, which is what conservation likes. And so DEP in saltwater, they want 25 feet from the property line. In freshwater, they allow 15. We're well away from that.
And and conservation looks at that also anyway, right? Which you'll be going to them after.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for all 5 of these and then I'll be going to the next hearing after. So a month and a half from now. I'm starting to work on all 5 of those now.
Are all 5 getting new ones? Is that what it is?
Just 5, there's 5 projects total that I'm filing with conservation. We're gonna do 3 tonight
I got you.
and then 2 more at your next meeting.
So just so you guys know what I just said, Mark came in with 5 and I was like, especially with me being kind of, and we're down a person and we got deadlines going on. I was like, let's get 3 of what I think are the easy ones, on here.
Yep.
We'll have the new harbor master is supposed to be starting the 31st. So, the ones that have some more questions, at least he'll be able to sit in and have, be part of that decision, because I don't want to leave him with all of, any complaints. So that's why we got 3 and then 2 for the next.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I know it has nothing to do with us, but storage. I know they've had problems with storing on that beach down there. So just be the only.
Yeah, conservation will dictate that.
Yeah.
They'll either say remove from the site. I think there's enough sand that as long as they park it in that spot,
Yeah.
they won't care about the vegetation. But it should be okay. But yes, that's their jurisdiction. They'll handle that.
Looks fantastic.
Any other questions, concerns?
Nope.
You wanna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the plans marked, what is the plan number?
Well, okay, you could say it's project, it's the Kerry, the project number is SC-238.
Yeah.
Dated 1/9/25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, SC 238
Got it.
yeah.
with a date 1925.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So you got your 2 copies, I'll keep these.
We gotta sign.
Yeah, we're gonna sign 2
Sign
copies.
those 2. And then they'll stay with you, or does one go back with me?
One goes there with you and
Okay, I'll roll
Mark
that on
takes
top
one.
of this.
Why is there 2 names on it? Or are they sharing it with neighbors?
Yeah, there's 2 families that own it.
Thank you.
How does that work?
I don't sign it.
Are they both on the
No.
for the beach?
Apparently, yeah.
I'm
They
learning.
both have to be on the.
You
Here's
make-
a-
Don't make me
April
cry.
19.
I don't.
Yeah, it's from it in the license. It's one
Signed it
piece of
upside down.
property.
Still your pencil.
Somebody.
that's how we started the trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that copy.
Yeah, you keep that.
Yeah. Just a license on that could go.
You didn't like that one, Daniel?
Thank
That's a .7.
The license runs with the land. This is the state DEP license. It runs with the land, so it doesn't matter who owns it.
I got
That
you.
property is licensed to have a dock there, and that's the next step.
So who cares? I mean, it could be 5 people.
Keep coming around, Rich.
We're gonna do the other Long Pond one next, right?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. And I've been to
All 3?
Just curious, because those, you know.
And you're
partnerships
happy
don't
with
last
the
forever.
navigation?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the
as
pond.
long as the pond
I
is,
know
you know,
everybody's
and
everybody's a fan
yeah.
of shared use docks.
I don't have.
Here's-
Unless you get a
I think everybody's.
Not-
would-
neighbors won't come up with
Or,
freaking wood.
you know, you guys-
I already did.
But it stays within the regulations.
If they have the,
Oh, exactly, yeah. Yeah, then it goes up
if
quick.
they've got the right to have a dock, I mean,
I mean, it
it's not-
stays
it's
within
not
every-
encroaching
every-
on another dock, I mean.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
Alright, this is the upside down one.
okay, that's the upside down one, I'll keep that one.
Yeah, you
Here,
need
I'll
this-
put it
you
on
need
top of
this-
here.
You need this for your records.
Yep, I'll put that right on here.
This one comes to me.
And roll that one up.
Alright, I'm just gonna keep them. Alright,
That's it.
next up. So this dock, this is the permitting of an existing dock that's been around for a long time apparently. And they wanna add one section. So for the purposes of permitting, most of it's all one parts needed. So this is on the south end of Long Pond, about halfway,
Seventh Avenue, I'd say it's a
third?
third maybe of the way. You kinda go down Seventh and there's a little, I drove that one too, it kinda goes back behind another property.
Yeah, it's a hard site to find, actually.
It is until, yeah.
To know which street to get.
Yeah.
GPS just goes.
Yep. But,
Anyhow, it's a wooden dock. I think I included pictures also.
there is pictures,
There are some.
I can bring them up, but I don't think you really need,
It's-
I don't know if
Is
I
that
can
the
put them in the
standard-
packet.
this
It's an old rickety, it looks like it'll be better by being rebuilt, to be honest with you.
But they're gonna, she doesn't need to rebuild the dock as it is.
Right.
They're allowed to, but.
Yeah.
It's a standard wood frame where you've got the uprights and the decking goes in through and somehow they bolt it all together and it's all good. And it just rests on the bottom. They're odd lengths, they're 11.5 foot lengths. I don't know, I didn't build it. And it's only 3 feet wide. So, it goes out, initially it goes out to here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. And, they propose to add another section. And that'll be built in wood to match what's there, they'll just have a carpenter do it. 3.1 feet at the end here now, and in freshwater, 2.5 feet is all that's required. So they have, again, some more depth. It's all seasonal. If you went to the site, the existing dock is stored on a patio over here, over about here. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that, and that whole place is getting like
all
redone,
getting-
right?
it's getting-
And
it's
so
getting-
conservation's in there already, cause they're redoing
Yeah,
like the
under-
whole place.
Under a separate notice of intent, all this gets obliterated and redone with a new seawall and everything else. There's a
Is that like a
patch
boathouse?
here.
Is that like a boathouse? Or is that the property? Is that the main house?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just trying to
There's a
picture
shed
where
over
it is.
here. Yeah, you go downstairs and then it's all concrete after that.
Oh, okay.
All that's getting changed.
I mean,
There's an
yeah,
existing
it's fine.
seawall on a patio, and then a concrete walkway that goes right to the edge of the water, and that's where the dock's been installed. And that's coming out as well. But that's all taken care of under the conservation permit that's already been approved. My job is only to permit what's there and add a new section. Closest structures, I didn't really find a dock close by. There's a bulkhead, like a.
I think there may be a seasonal dock that goes out there, but it's hard to say when it's not
There.
there.
It's hard for me to look at Google Earth
Yep,
this time of year, well, anytime, because
Yep.
it's shaded on this side of the pond.
yeah.
But at any rate.
And then a notice of intent will go out, right, too, so if there is somebody over there that has the, yeah.
Yep. And 120 feet to the nearest dock this way. So it's not centered in the lot, but it's 21 feet from the property line, so we're more than the 15 by DEP. And, but there's nothing, at least within 65 feet that I can.
And the length out in the water is not a problem?
No, it goes,
Yeah, I forget what we can-
67 feet overall.
Yeah, and it's allowed to go 80, I do believe, off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yep.
So by that, I mean, without having a dock over here, from the way I see it, I mean, by going out that other 11 and a half
You're still
feet,
within
I
the
don't.
80 feet?
We're still within the 80 feet, and like I said, I couldn't see the dock, everybody's got their docks on.
Right.
But, I mean, to get around, I can't,
See it,
I
yeah.
see no objection to that, as far as,
There's no mooring field over there, is there?
everybody's allowed to have 2 spots on the pond, so, I didn't look to see if they have each one of these can have, I believe this solder home next door has a mooring, but they put it way off to the other edge of the problem, because we've had some issues with that, but they have a mooring and a dock. They're allowed to have a mooring and a dock, or two moorings. Or, yeah, so basically 2 spaces in the water like that,
Okay.
so, even with that being said, there's room to be able to make that
Yeah,
work.
they're just going out.
Yeah, if somebody runs into this because it's 11 and a half feet longer than it's been for 20 or 30 years, they shouldn't be on the water.
Yeah, I mean, 11 and a half feet's not much,
No.
No.
really.
And it's out less than the 80 no matter what.
Yep.
Yep. And conservation may say if this gets rebuilt, then you'll switch to aluminum. That's their call, but for
Okay.
now,
Okay, I was
stay
thinking.
the way it is.
It is staying the way of the wood, okay.
Yep.
And they're the ones who regulate the depth, the, spacing and all of that for sunlight and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I don't have an objection to it from what I saw.
Any questions? Concerns? Make a motion?
Yeah, I don't have a number or I'd make it.
Alright.
Make a motion to approve, what do we got? Plan what?
SC 256,
217. Oh, no, sorry, 256.
256.
56 dated.
217 to 2025.
Great team effort. I love it.
You guys need.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Copy down here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So now we're getting into something a little more interesting.
Let me get these put in here so we can
Yeah,
Yes.
put this away and
squares.
keep this squared away here. Yep. If I could. Once you guys sign it.
We're going counterclockwise now.
Done. Yeah.
Mixing it up,
I mean, we're upside down on the first one.
keeping it exciting.
Does it matter if you're in the northern or southern hemisphere?
Not really. It's all how the toilet flushes.
Yeah, exactly.
Goes different. Yeah, the vortex.
Yeah, you're a plumber.
Yeah.
There you go. It is what it is.
It all ends up at the same place.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm.
Eventually.
Eventually. That one. There you go. And we'll keep that one after you sign.
There's one I have to sign.
Yeah, that's one. Good.
Sir? Okay, so next, a little bit more interesting. This is a jointly owned dock. It's right outside of Bill's office in Secaucus. Horseshoe shaped. So the property line goes right down the middle of the dock pretty much. You can see it in the area here. These two houses share it. It was originally licensed in 1967, and I think that's about when it was created because that permit had 2,600 cubic yards of dredging. So I'm guessing that's what created this parking spot. It was subsequently dredged in 1998 for 575 cubic yards. And the current proposal is 99. You stay at 99 or 100. If 100 yards or less, doesn't require a water quality certificate. And if you go beyond that, you have to have a chemical and biological testing and like that. And it increases the cost. Area dredging is in red. This is the area dredging here. You don't need to dredge under the existing feature or this one over here. I know it's an odd shape, but it's like that. As much as I could get from 99.
So you're under the 100 yards?
Yep, 99. All right, so existing pier. The gentleman to the north doesn't mind it the way it is. The permit allows the reconstruction of it. Whether he actually does it or not, I'm not sure, but no increase in footprint. You know, the only thing he might do that I'm suggesting to them is unless they replace all the pilings, which would be part of the project, but even if they didn't, they can unbolt everything and bolt it up higher, because the pilings extend above the decking. So if the decking was where I'm standing, all the pilings are like here. So you could easily unbolt it and just rebolt it higher and then put a handrail on it and lift the whole dock up. But be that as it may, that doesn't change the license because it doesn't change the footprint. It just comes up. They would only do that if they feel it needs floodproofing. I think last winter, we had some pretty high storm surges.
So that southwest, we usually get a lot
And
of.
the whole dock was probably, I've got a picture of it, like this much from being underwater. That was when your lot was flooded and nobody could drive in front of your
Yeah,
office.
our dumpsters were floating away. Seriously.
So we'll see, but that's the easy part on this side. They each have a float. This is all part of the license and the license footprint, and that all matches, so it's all good. The gentleman on this side has exactly the same thing, but his boat is different, and he has a hard time at certain tides getting onto the boat. Either it's too high or too low. And we thought about some kind of a different ramp system or something that would tilt up and down or motorize something, whatever. What we actually came up with was just to take the dock and chop off the permanent section and start, this is all one big section across for both, I'm sorry, right here is the dock. So it goes across. So you come down and then go down a ramp and then 2 5x20 floats, which is your 200 square feet also. So no, the dock is 5 feet wide, so it's all still within the footprint of the dock, but it'll be converted to ramp and floats. And then we're dredging on the side here, so they can put 4 boats here if they need to. And then off to the side, they have another ramp that goes down here to get to this float. That's just for them. That's not in addition to their license because it's over the float, so it doesn't change the footprint. So that's really what's going on. He definitely will do this. I can guarantee that he'll make that conversion. And this probably won't happen until this winter, over the winter. It's probably a time of year restriction for the dredging, you know, January 15th, April or May 31st for winter flounder, if that applies in Saquatucket. Division Marine Fisheries designates that, and conservation follows that restriction. So they wouldn't, I mean, I'm not gonna get it permitted in time, I don't think. It doesn't change, because I still have to apply for a license for the dredging. So, again, that's really all there is to this one.
All right.
Reconstruction of existing with dredging and then modification on one side of it.
All right,
So, okay, so I wanted to talk about this one a little bit, and I talked to Mark
Yes.
earlier today.
Yes.
So he knows, he's aware of what my feelings are. There's no changes in the footprint there, so from our standpoint, as far as navigation, I have no problem with that. Once again, Amy saw it, she's like, yeah, it looks like everything looks good on her end, she's happy with all that. Don can't make it here tonight, he looked at that BSC, that shellfish
Oh,
survey you had in there.
It's a ghost
He
town.
thought it looked pretty, he was fine, he said, it would probably have to be talked about, remediation at some point.
They found in the whole footprint, this
Yeah.
is the shellfish grid, the blue. Okay. In that whole footprint, they found 2 quahogs and a cherry stone.
oof, I don't know.
Yeah, so like I said, he read
through
through it and was
it.
kinda like, but, so, if you
All
read,
selfish lives matter.
if you guys read the whole, the cover letter that Mark put together, and this is the issue I have with
Point of
this at this
discussion.
point.
Yes.
And it's not like a, so it says here, down in the 4th paragraph, down toward the bottom. Dredge spoils will be put onto a barge, dewatered on the barge, and transported to the Saquatucket public boat ramp, which is a state public access site. So I don't know if there's anything that has to be done as far as a public access site.
I've never had to bother with it before because
Okay.
it's a public access.
It was just a
road.
question that popped into my head, so
Yeah.
I figured you wouldn't know the answer to
And
that.
I can explain the procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because there's
Let me
two
just-
different- But go ahead.
I'll
Yeah,
just
but-
finish and then you.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
briefly offloaded into a watertight truck, the spoils will then be disposed at an approved site, which, once again, that's out of our. For me personally, to be comfortable with this, and Mark's gonna explain it, how they're planning on unloading all of this. I feel that the new harbor master coming on should have just a look at the way that this dredge spoil is gonna come in. That's an active ramp, boat haulers use it, people are, there's stuff going on there all the time, there's commercial boats unloading. So, I'm not saying that it's undoable, I'm just saying I feel like the new harbor master should be put off till the new harbor master can get a look at it and just be on board with it before, people start going, what's this barge doing here? So that's my only input.
What's the projected time that you wanna have this done, or?
Well, so what I would suggest, let me explain the procedure first.
Okay.
So I've had 2 or 3 of these kinds of projects where we have a small amount of dredging. The most recent one was done in Richmond Harbor, the latest, and we keep saying the last dock, but nope, there's still one more. And they come in with a barge, well, I'm sorry, that was Limco. That particular project was also less than 100 yards, but they just loaded it all onto a barge because there was enough water depth. All right, let me back up. So I've had at least 2 projects where they had to dredge in shallow water, so they couldn't use a big barge. One of them was the dock, the pie dock that went in Oyster Creek 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's gotta be about that.
So what they do, and both of the companies that I work with have done it the same way. They'll come in with a barge, and they put little containers on it, like a wooden frame. Now, you know those bags that you get from Home Depot that are all nylon, you put debris in? Well, they get those bags, and they buy like 100 of them. So they put a bag in the mold, and they dredge and they fill up the bag. And it's only about 4 to 6 yards on each trip of the barge. So then all the barge has to do, it's actually a large dock float. They'll push it to the boat ramp, truck backs down, the truck either has its own boom, and they will take it off of the float. They don't bucket it off. They just take it bag and all, throw it in the back of the truck. So that is either done with a Lund, you know, the forklift Lunds that you see building houses, or if the truck, depending on who has what toys, that truck would have its own boom and just load it on the truck and away it goes. Not a very long time for them to unload. Again, because of time of year restrictions, this wouldn't be done, well, it probably wouldn't be done between January 15th and May 31st. So what I would suggest, you guys are an advisory committee, so what I would suggest, and if you don't feel comfortable doing this tonight, we can cover it the next meeting. What I would suggest is you say that, you know, we're fine with the project. However, our recommendations are as follows. So dredging should be done in the off season, like after October and before January 15th. If that's that deadline, okay? I won't know that till I file it, but almost every project I do, they have a time of year that starts January 15th. So let's say that's your only condition. We don't want to do it during the summer. Nobody wants to have that kind of equipment ruining their view and making noise in the summer. So I wouldn't even suggest that they do that. Do it in the off season. It's quiet, except for fishing boats. So you don't have a lot of ramp use. And I think that's a way that it can be used without them getting in the way. And this method of them using it doesn't require a lot of time. So that's what I would suggest is that, yeah, you're fine with the project. However, we recommend dredging be done in the off season only.
So you're 99 yards. How many yards are in a bag? How many yards roughly? One.
Mm-hmm. So if they can put six yards on a float, it takes some time to load it too. They can only do 3 or 4 loads a day maybe. So, because they're backfilled, they have to fill it.
Yeah.
And they gotta bring it back and forth. Not a lot of transit time. If you guys are familiar with how they dredged the Pie project in Oyster Creek, it'd be very similar. That one, we weren't allowed to use the ramp, and they had to find, Allen Harbor Yacht Club was nice enough to let them use their forklift, and they brought the barge up to their bulkhead. I don't know that we really have that option here. And it would be a real burden to take that many trips all the way out and around and to Allen Harbor. It would take forever. So I think as long as we can do it and stay out of the way, then it's completely doable using the ramp.
Yeah. I don't disagree with him. I just, like I said, I just still feel comfortable, would be more comfortable if the new harbor master gets a chance to take a look. And I do believe, and maybe you're wrong, that he has, you know, something's starting to go wrong on that. He has the ability to say, whoa, stop, we gotta do something different here, I do believe, and within statute.
I think so. I mean, there's some discretionary authority, certainly over the use of the ramps and everything. I wasn't in agreement with outright barring it for what I felt was, I didn't have a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what time of year that Pie was dredged. It might have been dredged in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That was like springtime.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah,
On
you probably, of course you do, because
Yeah.
you're right there. Yeah,
Because
I mean,
we-
my only thing is like I said, I'm gonna reiterate it one more time, is I just feel comfortable with the new harvest, just taking a look at that proposal for unloading that. Mark can explain it to him, and that's my feeling. I thought it was, and I apologize to Mark for bringing it up at the last minute when I kinda read and I was like, oh, I don't wanna throw it on his lap. But other than that, that was the only thing that stood out to me.
Well, I mean, so if we did postpone it to the next meeting, I mean, I don't hear from the committee, but, if we did, could we get it in verbiage about, the plan that we would only dredge, or the dredging would only be done off-season, so we don't have to actually put it in our stipulations? It would be part of the plan.
Oh, you mean
Make a
modify
motion,
the-
right?
It would be a condition upon our approval.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what the off-season is with a commercial fleet that unloads at the
Right,
bulkhead
right.
all year round. I mean, it's busier at times,
How
Yeah, I
do
mean,
they
that-
unload? You said,
they unload at the bulkhead
Oh.
all the time, so, I mean, that's where
Do
it's
they
more
need
like
a
if the
ramp?
new harbor master says, this is how, if you can show them how the barge comes in and how it gets lifted off, and we can keep it out of the way of, because sometimes we have, like, the Gillnet fleet will be out, 5 boats all backed up waiting to unload over there. And as long as we can stay out of that way, but that's, once again, where I think that's a talk through with the new guy who's gonna be fielding the complaints when it happens, if that comes down to it.
and do
So-
so you say the bulkhead, I'm not even sure where.
Yeah, so they
That's
will
right,
pull
yeah.
in, so if you were coming in from the water to the boat ramp,
Mhm.
to the right, it's jogged off, so,
okay.
most
Well,
likely you could stay out of the way.
Used to be the fuel dock.
Yeah, over by the fuel dock, there's some floating docks, but then there's a place where it's just the pilings there.
Oh, okay.
And usually they pull in just where the pilings are, cause the trucks will back
Yeah.
right up, and they just offload from there,
So
so.
they don't need the ramp, it's just a matter of.
They generally don't need the
where
ramp, it's just they need
get
that
in the
space
way.
to be able to come in and get to the bulkhead and get unloaded and get back out of there, so.
When
I mean-
will the dredging take place? Between October 15th, you said?
Well, I think in order for it to work, you'll have to limit it to that. I mean, like I said, none of us want it during the boating season, it's really busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, when are the boats have to be out of the summer
The summer boats,
boats have to be gone?
November 15th.
I would-
That's the end of it, we
Yeah.
kind of give like till December 1st, like,
Yeah.
but at December 1st, we're charging you for more, and then they come back in May 1st.
That would be more the date that I would be
Yeah,
picking
I
up, would
agree
be
with you.
when the summer boats have to be out of their
Maybe
slips.
sometime after December. But
We
then
may only
It's
have
usually
till
done by December.
January.
yeah, that's
We
the
may only
thing.
have until January 15th to actually.
Yeah, I don't have a huge issue, I mean, most of the boats are out by then.
Yeah.
But once again, I just don't wanna have the new harbor master.
I get that.
So,
That's all. That's
But,
my only-
but that would be my suggestion for
I
a date,
agree.
would be after the summer slip, like,
Which I think it has to be anyway. I have it on my computer, if I
Yeah.
would've thought I would've printed it out, I have all the time of year restrictions for all the different areas.
Oh, you mean the DMF restrictions?
Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
do have it.
If you have them,
I'll send it to you tomorrow if you want.
yes, because the only project I
You
had.
guys want me to send it out to everybody?
Yeah, you can send it to me, I'll send it to you.
Just in case other stuff comes up.
That'd be
you'll be
great.
able to have
You can send it to me, I'll send it out.
Yeah,
the
the,
ramp just gets-
the only other project I've had in Saquatucket is that elevated walkway. And DMF probably commented on it, but obviously it didn't include dredging, and we didn't even go out to the beach, so I don't know if there was a time of year on that one. I
Yeah.
can check it.
Mhm.
I don't expect them to change their mind much, but
I think it's the one that's sticking in my head. I know we got shut down in Allen Harbor because of horseshoe crabs. And I don't remember anything about horseshoe crabs in Saquatucket. I know it's the blackback flounder whenever that's in there. Like I said, unfortunately, if I had thought of it, I would have
If we
printed
don't
it out and
approve
thrown it in there,
you get
but I
kicked for a
wasn't.
month. Does that
Yeah, yeah.
jam up
Didn't know
your
what he
time?
was talking
no, because
time.
I'm waiting on
was.
all of these to go
So-
through
so-
conservation.
so
There's no sledge for me to.
So it doesn't jam him up if we wait for a month, so
Right.
let's just table it
Yeah.
until the next meeting.
Alright,
We'll get
so,
those couple questions answered. Please, you'll feel comfortable with new
I'll feel
harbor master,
comfortable.
and then-
and-
That way, no harm, no foul.
I'm gonna go back out and take a look at Saquatucket Landing, because I'm not familiar with that part of it. And I'll just go and take a look, so I have my eyeballs on it.
Yeah, maybe you can measure the, because what it does is, it jogs over into where the bulkhead is, where the boats are, and I mean, there's room there. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't room.
SC 217.
It's just, I just know those guys.
SC two
I'm
one
just
seven.
happy
Come
if
back with
somebody,
some clarity
if the
on
barge company
10,
didn't know that,
20,
and they
November
suddenly come in,
15th.
oh,
Yeah.
there's a barge here,
10,
nobody's around.
Yeah.
Was it SC 217? SC 217?
Yeah.
October's, November's pretty busy.
Hire somebody.
November
110,
Yeah, everybody gets
25.
used a lot.
Yeah.
But if you say it,
So
then we
he's
can
saying
approve it
December,
rather than us
January,
have to dream it up.
Yeah.
And,
I
but
gotta-
I
Alright.
really, I
I'll give
really
you as
don't wanna
much
put this on.
information as I can.
I make a motion that we table SC 217 dated 1/10/25 until the next meeting.
Get a second?
Second.
No signatures.
All in favor?
Aye. No signatures needed. Yeah, thank you for your time. and-
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And like
Great
I-
explanation.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm actually kinda interested in seeing exactly what the.
How we doing?
Yeah, because we actually did the offload. It was us, not the yacht club, that did the,
You
Hold
wanna
the
hold on? Shall you
bags
hold on,
out.
or you- I got 6
Oh, okay.
copies.
Yeah, just
I'll
hold
take
on until the next.
Okay.
they don't,
Yeah,
they don't
when
have,
we approve, we'll
they don't have
sign
to wait
those.
over the
Yes.
yacht club.
It's gonna be the same plan.
Yeah, Mark gave me all kinds of copies.
It's gonna be the same.
It just takes long, it was like 20, 30 minutes, a trip or something. I don't even think it's
I
that
don't
long.
know, have it print out.
Yep.
You know, everything takes longer.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a big, it wasn't even
Yeah,
a
I mean, the
big,
footprint,
big truck.
you
It
know,
was, they
the-
came
the
in
whole-
like a small,
As far as navigation,
a small.
no problem whatsoever. Same foot,
Even
same.
like a form truck with a boom.
Same footprint.
They come in like
Amy
a
took a
small
look
dump
at
truck.
it, you know,
Not even
I was like, Amy, I'm kinda new, make sure I don't make a mistake
Five
here.
fifty or
Come
something
please,
like that.
come please. And she was good, so,
Yeah, it's all
I do
good.
my due diligence.
Yeah,
Stu
it's
Smith a little
it's
bit
tough,
about it, too.
it's tough for you in your position, you know, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, just cause he's gonna be coming in, I don't know, just,
Yeah, I mean, there's another option, so the way that they did, the one in Richmond Harbor that they just did, they weren't allowed to use the dock at all. And Lemco did that one, and they just brought in a barge, and maybe only had to have 2 trips, but a bigger barge, and just piled everything on the barge, and they drove it all the way back to Yarmouth.
yeah, I watched him, I was living on the sailboat out in the outer harbor there, and I watched him come out a few times with it, and
Yeah,
head on off with it.
so, yes, that's an option, that greatly affects the price, I think, and if we can, and they always have the option of doing that, but if we have the option to use on the ramp, should be easy peasy for everybody else, as long as we monitor, manage it correctly.
Okay, I'm happy.
Fantastic. All right, thank you, Mark.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
We'll have 3 next time then,
Yes.
this one and 2 more.
Yep.
The other 2, one of them is another, it's a rebuild of a seasonal dock. It's kind of interesting, but it's benign as far as you guys go. Exact rebuild of a dock in the same footprint, a wooden dock, same footprint. There's a deck and a boathouse where the pilings are all like this. So if to temporarily lift the boathouse, drive some piles and throw some I-beams underneath and set it back down again.
Sounds a lot like the ARC building,
Yeah,
basically did,
yeah, on a smaller
on a small scale, yeah.
Yeah, so that one's kinda cool, but pretty benign, it's no expansion or nothing. And then the last one is a new dock in Oyster Creek, right next to the pie dock that was put in a couple of years ago. And that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Roger, you're.
if you get a
obviously
chance, take a
familiar
look.
with it.
I did not pull that stake.
You didn't, you left it in, okay.
No, so
Okay.
if you guys wanna go out to the new dock, all I did was put in a wooden stake that's viewed at low tide. And that is the center line of the outside of the float. And it's, in low tide, it's only in this much water, cause we're gonna dredge a parking space. So I would encourage you before the next meeting, go out and take a look at that site, 41 Nons Road, you can walk right out and look at it, or everybody has permission to go down to the pie site next door, the new dock, and go down the stairs, you can walk on the beach. It's a little squishy, so.
I've just been going, I've been pulling right into their U-shaped driveway.
Yeah.
And going out and looking down, I haven't actually gone in from the water, but,
Yeah, in the water, where are we talking?
right,
Oyster Creek,
yeah, I don't have the point with me, it's,
I do, but,
To off,
if you wanna,
but.
No, not right now, no. Well,
Yeah,
I mean-
it's almost a carbon copy of Pies. It's a shorter dock, only because the distance to the channel is shorter. And it sticks out, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
The boat that he wants to put there, it would stick out beyond the definition of the deep water channel by it would encroach upon that by 1 foot. The Pie project, the whole float and the boat didn't encroach on the actual channel itself. It's 38 feet wide though, and we're talking about a 30-foot boat, and I think there's other longer boats. I looked on Google Earth, there's longer boats that are way up in the end, the south.
Way up in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what's in there. I could look on the.
I measured it on Google Earth. They were at least 30 feet. They could be more. But
I can just look. I can just run the permit on there and see what everybody's got in there.
yeah. So some
Yeah, we're gonna
preparation.
want that.
Yeah, I can do it. I'll see what's.
'Cause that's tight, I mean, there's not much room in there.
Well, so the channel is actually narrower. So you should view the site at low tide.
Yeah.
Right at low
If
tide.
you get a chance, view it.
You can see where the
I'd
channel
view it.
is clearly, and you look at the marker,
my
envision, that's the edge of the float, so it's only the boat that's beyond that stake that's there.
Yeah,
And if it's missing, I need to know, because the neighbors are, some of them aren't nice, so. But I encourage, that's one that we should do some prep and look at it and stuff. The channel's 38 feet wide there. It's a little bit less when you come around the corner going out to Allen Harbor. So, I mean, my point is, if you can't stay 38 feet away, and that's where you have 3 feet of water. The designated deep water channel is 3 feet. So the 3-foot width at low tide is 38 feet. That's as narrow as it gets. So if you can't, people dock boats and boat slips. If you can't drive a boat around through there and make it 37 feet of clearance at low tide, again, you shouldn't be driving a boat, And it's not like there's 100 boats going in and out of there. All of that's in the letter, the description, as far as saying, hey, it's a low traffic area and all that. So, but yeah, that's one to take a look at beforehand.
And I'll get that out. Is that something? Should I get that out right
Sure.
away?
More
I
information
can
we
get
have,
that
better.
out because I have that stuff. So I will, now that we've gone through this. Like I told Mark, I didn't want to bring 5 projects all at once.
no, and I didn't want to either.
Yeah.
I can.
'Cause,
I will try to
well,
get that together and get that out to you.
Yeah,
Maybe
that'd be
tomorrow. Friday I'm out, but
Yeah.
if not by early next week, and that gives you plenty of time to take a look at it all.
Sure.
All right, great,
And
fantastic.
then if the stake is gone, or if you have any questions, my email's there, call me, I'll meet you out there if you want.
It's a PVC stake, wasn't it? Was it PVC? I can't remember what you put
No,
out there.
I usually put a 2-inch PVC, but I could only get it this far in the ground.
Yeah.
So I was afraid it would fall over.
Yeah.
And it was like a beacon to the neighbors going, oh, what's going on over here? So, I don't need that.
Yeah.
So the wooden stake, and again, you should view it at low tide anyway.
Mhm.
So, you'll see the wooden stake, there's some flagging on it if it's still there, and, let me know.
Yeah.
Or, like I said, if you want me to meet you out there, I'm happy to do that, I'm 10 minutes away,
All right,
okay?
okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too. Nice evening.
Yeah. Let's see here.
We don't have a monthly report, we're just normally I do a part, Michelle does a part, and John does a part, and then put it together. And
Yeah, nothing
the
from the
way it is this
selectmen?
month, we didn't get one out.
No. Nothing, making a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Oh, I need a motion.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Third.
We are at 6:53.
All right.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna go longer. Thanks, guys.
Landing on space every single time.
I know, huh?
Yeah, and I really just,
It's not, yeah,
Yeah.
trying to get anything by. You know, it's just-